Okay, today I will be talking on the types of technology stack. So this is part of the training properly. I'll be talking on the various types of technology stack you encounter in the industry. Well, because the spectrum of technology you use in the industry is large. Today I'll be focusing only on those technology that you see on the front end, those technology that you make use of when you are working on the front end. Yeah, so that is what we'll be looking at today. And basically we have three core technologies on the front end part of things. We have the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. So these are the three core fundamental tech stack that we have on the front end, and these are the tech stack I'll be covering today. But I want to do this way. I want to do this training this way. I want the training to have a theoretical component, which is what I will cover first, and then a practical component. Within the theoretical component, I will just share with you the foundation, the fundamental principles of some of these technology stacks. And then within the practical section, we go straight into the computer and start trying these things out. So to make the practical section a bit precise and informative, we'll be creating a small project. And basically, it's a small project, nothing really too complicated. We are going to create a HTML page, and then we have a HTML page, and then we have the CSS page file that we support with the styling and the color and the formatting of this HTML page, and then we have the JavaScript part. So we have, for the practical section, we have one, we have the HTML page. 2, we have the CSS, we explain CSS more later on. Then we have 3, the JavaScript side, the JS part of this project. So just to give you an overview of the project, I just want to show you how to create a HTML page, how to create a separate CSS file that you can use to style, to specify the layout. You see, these are the layout, the layout of this page is how you see this block, the way they are laid out horizontally. And you can see that these guys and these guys, this block, this section of block, this one and this one are laid out vertically. So this layout, the way they are structured, CSS is what supports that. So you use CSS to implement that structure, and if I'll be including some colors as well, so you specify those within your CSS. So let me just give you an overview of the practical side. This is a plain HTML page. I have 4 blocks, and these blocks have a default color of, let's say, gray. Their default color is gray. Then, but when you click on the blue color, it changes the whole of this to blue. Then if you click on yellow, it changes the color to yellow. If you click on default, it returns the color of these blocks to its gray, its initial state, which is gray. So that is what I want to use to demonstrate this front end part. And basically that I can use plain. For this practical section, I can use plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I can equally decide to use Angular. These are front-end framework. So maybe let me use this opportunity to explain what framework is. A framework is basically a pre-made software that you can now use to build upon to achieve what you want to do. So it's kind of like a pre-made, will I say a prefabricated software. Let's put it that we understand the concept of prefabrication. Prefabrication, we have like prefabricated houses. So prefabricated houses, you just get the house, and then you come in. If you, let's say, get the house, this is the prefabricated house. Then once you're coming into the house, you start putting, okay, this is my bedroom, this is my bedroom, this is my toilet, this is my parlor, So these are the things you do yourself, but the fabricated house is already there. So your framework is just like a fabricated software, a prefabricated software. So you download the software and then you start building on top of the framework. So that's what framework is. But whatever you can do with framework, you can do with native. These are the native languages, the native technologies that you use in your framework. So what you can do with your framework, you can do with the native technology. But trying to do what you are supposed to do with the framework with a native technology is like trying to reinvent the wheel. And in this industry, what we try to avoid basically is, as much as possible, is trying to reinvent the wheel. It doesn't make sense to try to kind of reinvent the wheel. So that is the summary of the practical section. Now let me move back to the theoretical section. We'll be covering HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So why do we need HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Why do we need these technologies? Basically, your computer has a software that runs on it called the browser. So that is your browser. And basically what your browser allows you to do is to interact with the web, the web. So your browser is your gateway to the web, or one of your gateways to the web. So your browser allows you to interact with applications. And but the problem with the web, the browser, is that, let's say I have an application and I want to display I have an application, I have a website, and on that website I want to display, let's say, John is a boy. I want to display a sentence to the visitors of my application. The sentence is like, John is a boy. Or let's use what the industry standard. Let's use hello world. So I want to display this. The problem is that the browser does not understand this. As a sentence, the browser does not understand this. What the browser understands is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if I want to display this to the browser, if I want to display this to my visitors via the browser, then I will take this piece of information and put it in a format that the browser understands. And the basic format that the browser understands is the HTML. So you can use HTML for displaying information on, that's the main vehicle of displaying information on the browser, your HTML. So now let's come to your HTML. How do you then take this information, put it inside the HTML, and send it to the browser? Now the HTML, so that is your HTML is the core display mechanism for your browser. So that is to say, any information you want to display on your browser, or any information you want to take from the browser, it's two ways. You can display information on the browser. You can also send information from the browser to the web server. The web server is where your application will be running, and you'll be communicating with the browser via your HTTP. So the HTML is the core display mechanism, or the core interaction, the core mechanism with which you display information to the browser, or you take information from the browser, capture information from the users via the browser. And the HTML at the heart of your HTML is your HTML element. So your HTML element specify the semantics or the language you can use to wrap your information that you want to display on the web. So let me say it again. It specifies the language or the way you should wrap, because what you are doing is you are taking your information and you are using HTML to wrap your information. That is basically what you are trying to do. And your HTML element specify your HTML element specify the language or the semantics you can use to do that. And we have several HTML elements. So if you want to learn HTML element, if you want to learn HTML, the main thing you'll be doing is to understand the various HTML elements we have. And here I've listed a couple of those. I've listed like 6 of them. We have the image element. So if I want to display image to my browser, to my users via the browser, I will wrap that image data. I will use in the image element. And then we have the image element, then we have the we have the element, and we have the tags. The tags specify, it's kind of specify the way you will use the element in your file. So the tags specify the way you should use your element in your tag in your HTML file. So you can't just say, okay, HTML, you can't just say image, or let's say image element. No, you can't just say, okay, I have image. So how do you use this image element with your own information? So that's where tags, these are the tags. These are the tags. This anchor bracket, we call them anchor bracket. So these are your tags. Then your element will not be inside this. So if I want to display, like we have the image element. So with the tags, my image element becomes img. So how then do I use this information to display my image data? My image data will come, your image data will be somewhere. Your image data will be somewhere in a file. So what you need to do is to get the location of that file. It could be within your application, or it could be within another server. But what you do is to get what is the location of that image file. Then there is a property you will use to specify the location of that image. It's called source. Source is a property of image element. Source is the property of, and use source to specify the location of the image file. So that it's simple, it's not really hard. So we have, let me run through the element once more. I don't want this video to be long. We have the image element, that's for display images. Then we have the input element. Remember I told you earlier on that it goes both ways. You can fetch information from your server and display to the browser, or you can capture information from the user via the browser and send to your server. So the input element basically allows you to capture user information via the browser. Then we have like we have the paragraph element. If you want to display a paragraph, if you are reading a book, we have the book can be divided into paragraphs. If you want to display a paragraph on the web, on your browser, then you use the paragraph element. Or if you now put all the tags, it becomes the paragraph tag. So this is the paragraph. Let's say if I want to display hello world inside a paragraph, what I do is this. Now my paragraph is P. That is the symbol. So you have the element, the full name of the element, and their symbols. So like for image, the full name is image, but the symbol is img. So for input, the name is input, and the symbol is input as well. Then for paragraph, the symbol is P. So you have P, you close the tag, then this is where you put your hello world. And then you close the tag. This is what you will now, if you send this thing to the browser understands this. So this is what the browser wants you to send if you are sending a paragraph. So as I said, let's continue. We have the division, the div element. The div element is a generic element. The div element is the generic element that allows you to display information in vertical blocks. So div element display information in vertical block. Then we have the span element. The span element displays information on a horizontal layout. It displays information. So that is if I want my information to display horizontally, I'm going to use a span. If I want those information to display vertically, a div will do the job. And then we have the last one here, which is like heading. Heading is another HTML element that you get. If I want, of course, if you have like an article, the heading of the article on your browser should be wrapped around what your list, depending on the size of the heading. It could range from H1 to H6, if I'm not mistaken. So this is my title, you know. This is the way to use it. So this is the way to display a title. So I think that is, and then there is, I think that is all for this side. And then we have, I want to talk about identifiers and classes, because these are the things you'll be working. These are the things you'll be working with when you start doing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Identifiers and classes are the method you use to identify individual HTML tags, individual HTML element. And what you do is, if this is my hello world, I can identify this as what my ID. You can say this is the way we do it, this is the way you do it. To identify this, I can say the ID should be, let's say, equal to hello or something, and the class should be equal to, let's say, hello world. So this should be the class. These class and ID are the properties of every element. So every element has a property called a class and an ID identifier, and these properties are used to identify that particular element. So for example, if I want to make a reference to this hello world in my CSS, I can use its identifier or its class. The same thing, if I want to reference this, let's say this paragraph in my JavaScript, I'm going to use the identifier or the class. Now there are two things. There is something you need to know about identifier and a class. Each of these HTML element, every HTML tag in your file should have a unique identifier. So that is to say, two elements should not have the same identifier. Now, but a class can be shared between several elements, but every element must have its own unique identifier. So to just cap it up, identifier belongs to only one element. Class can belong to more than one element. So I think that is what. And okay, now let's talk about CSS. It shouldn't take us much time because so like I said in the earlier round, CSS basically allows you to structure the way like if I have, this is my HTML page. This is my HTML page, and I have these blocks. These are the block. This is a block. This is a block. This is a block. This is a block. Then these are buttons. These are buttons. So my CSS allows me to specify the layout. You see, these are laid out horizontally, and then this tree vertically. So the CSS allows me to structure how these things should be laid out. The CSS will also allow me to specify the color of these. So to specify the color of this, remember what I said earlier on. These blocks are wrapped within HTML tag, and they will have their IDs and their classes. I could give all these blocks the same class just for the purpose of styling them. And what I will do is that I will say, okay, for these blocks, the color should be green, or the color should be yellow, or the color should be blue, or whatever. And then the buttons as well, I could specify the colors of the button. So all these, you can do this using CSS. So the CSS allows you to beautify your page. to beautify your page, to make your page look clean and beautiful. That's what your CSS does for you. And you can create your CSS file, you can create your CSS inline. That is, if you're creating your CSS inline, your CSS will be, there is a property within your element. Your element has a property called style. So if you want to create a style for that element, inside the element, then you use the style property. But it is not advisable to put style inside your HTML page. In the software industry, we have a concept called separation of concern. So, and the idea of separation of concern is that if you have several behavior, it is better to delineate those behavior, put them separately. If you have several things, like if you have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all the JavaScript part which handles interaction should be on a separate JavaScript page. You can bring all these things to the HTML page, but that is not the best practice. The best practice is to put everything in their separate pages. So your CSS should be in its own separate page, your HTML separate page, your JavaScript separate page. Then you bring, I think that's what I will explain here when I get to this place. I think that is all for CSS. So your CSS allows you to specify the style and color and layout of your HTML blocks and elements. So let's move over to JavaScript. JavaScript is plain for interaction. Like in this project, what I want to do is, if you click this button, it should change the color of this block. So that interaction, changing the color of this block when this button is clicked, is what JavaScript does for you. JavaScript is a programming language. These guys are all programming languages, but they are not full-fledged programs. They are what we call pseudo programming languages. But JavaScript is your plain programming language, and if you learn JavaScript and understand JavaScript, learning other programming languages becomes a lot easier. So your JavaScript handles interaction. So how does JavaScript handle this interaction? JavaScript will collect the ID of it. Will tell you, bring me the element with this particular ID. So it will bring all these elements, or you get me all these elements that have this class. Like I said, you specify the classes of this element, and then JavaScript says, if you get that element, when this button is clicked, on button click, change the color of those elements to yellow. Or when the button is clicked, when the button is clicked and the button has let's say a property yellow, you change the color of this element to yellow. So it's a simple thing. So that is all about JavaScript. And then how do you bring everything together in your HTML page? That is what I want to talk here. So you, as I said earlier on, you create all these pages. You put everything on a separate page. So if you are working with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, it is always advisable to put everything on their own separate files. Let's put it the correct way. So for HTML will have a file, and the extension of that file, your HTML file, will be .html. CSS too will have its own file separately, maybe preferably in a separate folder. And the extension of that file will be like, let's say, .css. The same thing with JavaScript. JavaScript will have its own file in its own folder, and the extension of that JavaScript file will be JS. So if I'm creating this project, let's say, what is the name of this project? Let's give this project front end stack. So let's say that's the name of the project. So I could create a HTML page that I will call front end stack.html. So, but let's just leave this. We'll do that during the practical session. I will demonstrate all this during the practical session. So to summarize, when you work on the front end, there are three core technology, basic fundamental technologies you will make use of: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I've said that HTML is for structuring, is the basic display or data capture or display vehicle for the browser. And then I talked about CSS, where I say CSS is the mechanism for styling your HTML pages. And then JavaScript is your main mechanism for interaction. If you want to do all those tiny fanciful interaction, like if you click this button, it changes color. If you click here, it glows, or all those things. That's what you do with JavaScript. And then there is something I need to mention. I talked about frameworks. There are several frameworks, but the basic framework are Angular, React, and React is a library, not a framework, but people use it like a framework, and Vue. Then I say that a framework is like a prefabricated house. They just give you the house, then you go in and make all the arrangement. They build the house the way you want it to work. But there is a basic structure there for you. So that's what the framework helps you to do. Angular is owned by Google. React is owned by Facebook. And Vue is owned by one of these guys that left one of these big tech to do his own. Then there are, within this, there is also like we have a framework for doing HTML, CSS, I think CSS. And one of the CSS, most popular CSS framework is like Bootstrap. Bootstrap is basically what you like. Bootstrap already has everything, all the style and everything for buttons. If you want to put things in this vertical way, there is a Bootstrap element that will allow you to put. So Bootstrap is just kind of like I've done most of the basic styling you will see on a standard web for you. So all you need is to just take it. Then if you want to do anything that is related to what is already on the web, you can just use that particular styling. I think that is all for the theoretical section. I will go straight to the computer and demonstrate. I will create all these, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, sorry for the noise. My washing machine is spinning, so sorry for the noise. So I think that is all. That is all for this training. Bye.